Are you looking for a place to live that's out of the regular daily Dallas hustle and bustle? Well, we may have just the place for you. The Colony, Texas is a pretty unique suburb of Dallas, Texas that you don't really always hear about, especially because of its location and because of the cities that surround it. So, the Colony, Texas, is it really a good place to live? What's it really like living in the colony? Because that's exactly what we're going to be diving into today in our video. So, a few fun facts about the Colony, Texas: that it's actually known as the city by the lake. A large portion of the city of the colony is located right along the eastern shore of Lake Louisville. Now we're going to show you a little bit more about it as with its location and all that it has to offer as we do get further along in this particular video. Back in 1973, Fox and Jacobs were Dallas developers, and they purchased 2,500 acres along the eastern shore of Lake Louisville. And the name of the colony actually was chosen because of the developers' really strong relationship and bond that they felt they had with the early Texas developers. Now, in 1974, things really got rolling with a municipal district for water services. Also in 1974 is when the first families actually moved into the city of the colony. So by 1977, the colony had over 3,500 residents, and it was voted to incorporate as its own city. So is the Colony, Texas a good place to live? Well, if you're looking at niche.com, the Colony, Texas receives an overall grade of an A. And as you can see on the screen, it does note some of its strengths and a few of its areas that it could improve upon. Now, a little bit about the demographics of the colony. And in 2021, the population of the colony was just over 43,000 people. Now, as of 2024, the population is estimated to be around over 45,000 individuals, giving it about a 2% growth rate since the 2020 census. Now, the median household income as of the 2022 census 5-year summary is just over $106,000. Also, according to the 2022 census data, looking at place of birth for the citizens in the colony, over 49% were born in the state of Texas, over 86% were born in the United States, and about almost 6% of the residents are not U.S. citizens. Also, here is the race makeup that is found in the U.S. Census data as well. Now, when we're looking at the home ownership rate for the city of the colony, just over 60% of the residents own their homes, while around 39% of the residents are renting. So as we talk a little bit more about the median home prices and we dive in a little bit more about the housing in the colony, make sure to stick around so that we can give you the scoop on all of that and some of the best places to live here in the city of the colony as well. But as of the latest MLS numbers, as of January 2024, the median sales price was just over $484,000, which was up 8.5% from the previous January of 2023. So it's had a really strong year for a so-called housing market crash. And if you want to keep up on the colony housing market's trends, make sure to check out our website because we do dedicate an entire page to the housing market trends for this particular city and most of the cities in the Dallas area. Now, where is the colony located? Now, what makes the colony so unique for the Dallas area is its proximity to Lake Louisville. There's only so many cities that can actually say that here in the Dallas area. And obviously, when we're talking about the Dallas lake life, the colony is going to be one of them. With about 23 miles of shoreline on Lake Louisville, it also includes 2 peninsulas, and some of the views out there on that particular eastern side of Lake Louisville are absolutely amazing. We love the views, especially here in the state of Texas when we really don't have any mountains to speak of. When you can be over on the east side and watch those amazing sunsets, it's absolutely one of my favorite things. So when we talk about where Lake Louisville is, it is going to be on the west side of the cities of Frisco and Plano, and it's going to be bordering the city of Little Elm on the south side. Also, it is going to border a little bit of the eastern part of Louisville. It's also going to border parts of Louisville as well as Carrollton on more of the southwest side of the city of the colony. Now, the 121 Sam Rayburn Tollway is actually going to head right through the middle of the colony, heading east and west. So heading over into, like I said, the Plano and the McKinney and Allen area, or you can hop on the 121 to get over to even Dallas and the DFW airport. Now, if you're heading over to the DFW airport from the city of the colony, that's going to be about 16 miles. But to get over to certain parts of Plano really could only take you maybe 5-10 minutes, especially if you are working in that particular area. To get to downtown Dallas, if you do need to frequent there, maybe you work down in Dallas, that's going to be about 28 miles. And a lot of times you might have to take multiple toll roads to get there. Not all the time, because you do have alternative routes that you can take, but just something to think about if you are a little bit more concerned with how often you might need to be taking toll roads. And also, Fort Worth is going to be about 40 miles, and the city of Arlington is going to be about 35 miles. So if you're really into sports and activities, you want to go to Six Flags or a Cowboys game, you're going to be, spending some time on the road for those. Now, what really makes the city of the Colony unique? Now, when people are talking about moving here, maybe they want to be able to have access to nightlife and shopping and even events on occasion. Well, the Colony could be a really great area to live. In fact, Grandscape, if you've ever heard of Grandscape or if you research Grandscape at all, that's actually located in the Colony right along the southern border of the 121 freeway. So if you have everything from your giant Nebraska Furniture Mart, your Scheels, as well as tons of dining and other shopping experiences over there. In fact, we've had clients who have moved here from out of state, and they've moved to areas like Midlothian and Burleson and Fort Worth, and they have traveled all the way over to Nebraska Furniture Mart, especially because of the amount of shopping that you can get done there. If you're looking for furniture or TVs or maybe even stuff for your home, that's certainly a one-stop shop. Obviously, here in Texas, in the Dallas area, there's multiple options and areas that you can go to. But when Nebraska Furniture Mart came into town, that's where so many people go. Especially on the weekend, that place is crazy busy. So certainly something to check out no matter what it is that you might be looking for. Also, if you really do want to be able to get outside and maybe cool off in our hot summers, not only do we have Lake Louisville that you can go and enjoy a day on the lake, but they also do have a smaller water park right within the Colony called Hawaiian Waters. So another great area that you can go, especially with kids. I know my kids absolutely love water slides and love spending days at water parks, and there's so many options all throughout Dallas, and they have one of those right in the city of the Colony. Also, plenty of parks, plenty of trails, and they do also have a great community center in the city of the Colony as well. I know we talk about that in a lot of our city videos, and it really is a good bonus for the residents of these particular cities, whether you're young or old. They do have a senior center there, as well as indoor and outdoor pools. So it's really a great area that you can just join because you're a resident of the city of the Colony. So as I do get into a little bit more on the Colony, I want to take a quick second to introduce myself in case you're new here to my channel and you're wondering who the heck this lady is. My name is Kristen Carpentier. I am a licensed realtor here in the Dallas, Texas area, and I cover the entire Metroplex. My channel here is dedicated to helping people understand what it's like actually living here in Dallas, Texas, and to help them make life a little bit easier in making that move here. So don't be shy. Reach out if you're thinking about moving here to Dallas, Texas. We help people just like you every single day, and my information is going to be right down below. So don't forget to call me, shoot me a text, or send me an email if you have any questions at all. Also, all I ask is if you're actually liking this content, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment down below, because comments absolutely matter here on our channel, because it's the only way that it helps us know that you like what we are putting out here, and it helps YouTube share this channel as well. Finally, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, because you never know when a sudden bit of brilliance is going to motivate me to create content that could absolutely change your life, and you don't want to miss it. All right, well, enough with the boring stuff and on with our show. Now, things that people ask me all the time when they're making that move here to Dallas, Texas. There are several topics that always seem to come up when I'm speaking with clients who reach out and wanting to make that move here. So while I'm not really able to steer anybody, I do like to cover a lot of different topics that people are reaching out and asking about publicly, because I do like to cover many of the topics that people ask using publicly available information. So you can choose for yourself if the Colony is going to be right for you. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about crime. A lot of people are actually interested in the crime statistics, which is actually really understandable because they're wanting to move to a safe place. So is the Colony, Texas, a safe place to live? Well, everybody here seems to have differing opinions. You would need to research this more in depth if you are actually interested in that. But a few resources that I do want to share that are available online and use actual FBI data. So that way it is more unbiased and it is really just the facts that are out there. So, one of the resources to check out is bestplaces.net. According to this resource, compared to the city of Dallas, keep in mind lower numbers indicate lower crime rates. Violent crimes in the colony rank it as an 11, while Dallas is at a 37 and the entire United States is at a 22.7. Property crimes in the colony has a ranking of 20, while Dallas is at 50.7 and the United States is at 35.4. So, from all of these numbers, it does indicate that the colony has lower crime than Dallas and the US as a whole. And another source for crime statistics is going to be neighborhoodscout.com. This site is going to give you a crime index rating indicating what percent a city is compared to the US neighborhoods. And the colony is going to get a rating of a 10, indicating that it's safer than 10% of all US neighborhoods. Violent crime is 2.9 for the colony, and all of Texas is getting a rating of a 4.3. And the US gets a rating of a 4. So it is lower than Texas and the US averages. Now, property crime for the colony is given a 28.2, while Texas gets a 23, and the US gets a 20. So according to this site, property crime is higher in the colony. You can do with it as you wish. That's obviously totally up to you. High crime areas and cities do tend to be centralized in certain pockets that can skew numbers for the entire city, as well as the colony is a smaller city, which also can skew some of those numbers as well. Now, on to a little bit about the politics. This is always a fun one. You get comments in every direction, but people do seem to care about this, so I do kind of like to throw it in there just to kind of get the information out there that I can find. So as you can see from the map, the colony is made up of 7 different precincts, and it seems to be split politically according to the 2020 election. The northern part of the city above the 121 freeway seems to be a little bit more conservative, and this seems to be kind of the majority in terms of population for the city, while the southern portion below the 121 freeway leans a little bit more liberal. But it was noted that the largest precinct, which was a big clue portion right below the 121, that Biden pulled in 60% of the vote there. So that area does seem to be a little bit more liberal. Now, as we're looking at the county overall, which was Denton County, that county was 53% Trump to 43% Biden. So overall, it still leans conservative, but there are some very heavy liberal pockets in the city of the colony, in case that is something that is also important to you. Now on to the schools. Of course, the next big topic that comes up when we're speaking with clients making that move here is about the schools. Like crime, it's very understandable that this can affect the quality of life. And in terms of real estate values in Dallas, it does play a major factor in home price appreciation. So whether you do have kids or not, it is something that is very important to a lot of people. Now, the colony is also unique from other cities in the sense that it does serve multiple different school districts that serve right within the same city boundaries of the colony. Again, we're going to use some public data sources to introduce you to this particular topic. Then you're going to need to dive a little bit deeper if that is going to be something that is important to you. Now, the 2 school districts that do serve the city of the colony are Little Elm ISD and Louisville ISD. So depending on where it is that you live in the city, that's going to be determining where your children are going to be attending school. Now, Little Elm ISD does receive an overall rating of a B from niche.com, as you can see on the screen, noting that there are a few strong points in areas that could use a little bit of an improvement. Also, you can see on the map the individual ratings by location. Now, Louisville ISD does receive a rating of an A from niche.com, as you can see, with good grades across the board. This is the ISD that serves the majority of the colony, as you can see, and school ratings are all A's and a few B's. So again, if this is something that is important to you, do a little bit more digging, but the schools are pretty good overall in the city of the colony. Now, on to housing. The number one thing that people are always talking about when making that move here to the Dallas area. Now, as we mentioned earlier, the median sales price year over year as of January 2024 was just over $484,000, which was up 8.5% from the previous year. Running a market analysis for the past 180 days, closed sales averaged from $198,000 to $2.1 million. And the active listings indicate a range of $248,000 to $1.75 million. So there really is a wide range of homes, as you can see, from homes on the water to condos and townhomes, all within the city of the colony. Also, as we did mention earlier, if you want to know even more about the housing market in the colony, check out the link in our description for this video that will take you onto our page that has a really in-depth market analysis if that is something that you would really like to see. Also, you can always search for homes as well on that page on our website too. So, compared to areas like Frisco, which has an average price point of $670,000, Little Elm, which does have a lot of new construction going on right now, their average price point is about $440,000. Plano has an average price point of about $513,000, and the median sales prices are certainly affordable in the colony, and the quality of life and amenities are really good as well. Not to mention, all the previous topics we touched on make this a very desirable place to live, which is why the prices are continuing to rise in this particular area. So, of course, there are a lot of communities within the city of the colony, but there's a few that we do want to touch on. So, some of the most notable communities that we talk about, that we have seen, that people have asked about, if you are looking for new construction, there is still continuing to have new construction over in the community of the Tribute. Now, the Tribute is a really big master plan community with multiple sections, or villages as they like to call it. Now, along the Tribute, it's going to be on one of the peninsulas of Lake Louisville. It has a lot of shoreline nature trails and a preserve over there. It does have a proposed marina and park site that should be coming here pretty soon, as well as the Tribute Golf Links and Old American Golf Course out there within that community too. So if you're really into golf, there's 2 golf courses right within your community. In the Tribute, they do also have an on-site elementary school as well as an on-site middle school already. Now, the Chelsea Green section is going to be opening in the Tribute in 2024, and that particular section is going to have single-family homes and townhomes with views of the golf course. So if you love to have views and not to be looking right out back to your neighbors, this could be a really good section for you if you are looking for new construction. Now, in the Tribute, they have some amazing amenities, of course. There's 2 resort-style pools. They have a splash pad for little kids. They have pickleball courts, playgrounds, as well as tons of miles of trails, fishing, a canoe and a kayak launch if you want to get out onto the lake and take a day out there. And also, one of the golf courses does have a clubhouse with on-site gourmet restaurants and, of course, amazing views right there of Lake Louisville, which is absolutely one of our favorite things. But the Tribute is really designed as more of a natural habitat, and with the views and the shoreline and the community being built out on this particular peninsula, it just really is just one of those areas that you don't get in a lot of places here throughout the Dallas metro. Okay, another community that we do want to touch on just a little bit that is out on another one of the peninsulas of Lake Louisville in the colony is going to be Waterford Pointe. Now, the homes out in Waterford Pointe are going to range from about $600,000 to about $2 million. Now, this particular community no longer has new construction, but the homes out there are newer. So if you do want to be in an already established neighborhood, you don't want to have to worry about construction being out there, this could be a great option, and it's going to have, pretty much a lot of the same views and features that you're going to find over in the Tribute community. They're going to also have some lakefront homes, so if you do want to keep your eye out for something like that, because we do have clients who've moved from California, they're used to the beach, they're used to their views. Some of these areas can be absolutely fantastic to look into if that's something that you're looking for, because you miss the ocean out on the Pacific. One other community that we want to touch on a little bit is called Austin Waters. Now, this particular community is more on the southeast side of the colony, down south of the 121. Now, the homes out there are going to range from about $700,000 to about $1.3 million. And because of its location and how it borders the city of Plano, not everybody wants to be too far north, because maybe you do need to commute to downtown Dallas and you don't really want to have to deal with nearly as much traffic. This could be a great option because it is closer to downtown. It is closer to different areas of Plano. And if you, like I said, if you are having to commute, this is a super desirable neighborhood, especially because of its location and maybe even its price point. Now, it does border the preserve at Arbor Hills, which is technically located in the city of Plano. So if you want that outdoor atmosphere where you can go hiking on the trails, it actually really does have some amazing rolling hills over there. If you go out there any day of the week, you're going to see tons of people out walking their dogs. And, because there really are miles of trails out running and just spending a day outside, because really when the weather is nice here in Texas, everybody wants to be outside. And as always, if you do want more information on any of these communities or this particular area, please reach out to us. We do a lot of work, research all the time about what's going on in the market and what is for sale and what might be up and coming in a lot of these communities. And we would love to absolutely help you find the perfect fit for you. So, when we talk a little bit about why people may want to consider moving to the colony, there are some basic pros and cons. And of course, one of the big pros for maybe considering the colony is its new construction. Not everybody wants to be so far outside of the city, out into the boondocks, as we kind of like to call it. In fact, I had one client who reached out a couple weeks ago and was highly considering moving to the Salina area because of some of the master plan communities up there. And when she came into town and she checked out the communities, she absolutely loved them, but realized everything that she wanted was further down in and around the main part of the city. And we threw in the colony as an option because she really was hoping for new construction. And when you are thinking of new construction and its location, the colony really did offer a lot of what she was looking for. And of course, if you do want new construction opportunities and you don't want to be so far outside of town, they do have that option in the colony. So something to certainly think about and check out and ask your questions if that's something that you want to know more about. Also, the Dallas lake life. Again, we're going to talk about it, the heat, the weather. It really does get pretty brutal here in the summer. And if you want access to some of those amenities, you want access to the lake, at least the lake views, the Tribute, and some of these areas could be a great opportunity by moving here to the colony. Also, the schools. Schools definitely something that we get asked a lot about, especially from people relocating with children. And if you're looking at the school data, there are some great school districts that are fed into by living in the colony as well. Also, the home value appreciation in the colony too. Knowing that your property values are going to continue to rise because of the location, because of the growth that we are seeing here in Dallas, certainly another reason to consider moving over to the colony. Also, the colony has tons of amenities, tons of shopping, and tons of things to do. So if you want all of those options right at your fingertips, the colony could be certainly somewhere you might want to consider. But of course, with every pro comes a few little cons that we always want to kind of throw out there. If you hate having to pay for toll roads, if you don't want that extra expense, well, it's probably going to be pretty hard to avoid toll roads if you are moving over to the area of the colony. Granted, you don't always have to get on them, but it's certainly something that you're probably going to want to be using more often by living in the city of the colony. Also, the traffic. When you're thinking of the location of where the colony is in proximity to places like Frisco and Plano and the 121 tollway, you're going to have a lot of traffic. It's just something that is pretty unavoidable with the growth that we've had here in Dallas. So certainly something that you just might want to be prepared for. Also, we note a little bit of crime. So if you're really nervous and worried about the crime statistics, obviously do a little bit more research, but it could be something that might put a few people off. Also, when you're looking at schools, yes, that is certainly a pro here because there are some great schools that the colony does feed into. But of course, not every school is as highly rated as some of the others. So certainly something to think about when thinking about moving to the colony, making sure if that is something of importance to you, that you find the areas that are more suitable to where it is that you're looking to put your kids into school. So if you do like this video and you love the Dallas lake life, because what's not to love about all of that, make sure to check out this other video about living in Little Elm, Texas too, because that may be something of interest to you. But of course, any other questions, if you have anything that you want to know more about, don't hesitate to reach out. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Let me know what I can do to help you make that smooth move here to the Dallas, Texas area. And until next time, take care.